Dala, 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 dala. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to start a mini series on nightmares and how to deal with them. And this is in response to a few questions that I've received in terms of the dream realms and dealing with nightmares. So this first video is very an introduction in terms of speaking about nightmares and what is causing them, what you can do, so forth and so on. So, as we've said, from my perspective, dreams are real. They're not some psychological event. When you're having a dream, the dream is taking place in a space and in a time specific. If you watch some of the other videos I've made on dreams, you can go in the past, you can go in the future, you can go in other dimensions. You can, I mean, the possibilities are limitless as your mind can be in terms of what's going on in your dreams. And I know that this is more of the Western scientific aspect of dreams will tell you that dreams are just psychological experience that you're maybe reliving things that help you process what you lived during the day. From a spiritual and a cultural perspective, this is not the case. Whatever dream you're having is happening and is happening somewhere and is very much real, and it's important to take note and consideration and take into account what it means and where it's coming from. Now, this being said, there is a large portion of you guys that have told me that you may be having dreams that are triggered based on things that are happening in your awakened state. Meaning, for example, you watch a movie, you watching a show, a music video, what have you, and then you have nightmares about it. And sometimes you can go, even on YouTube, you can go on certain videos and things like that, and you will see comments of people saying, "Oh, I cannot watch this," or "This gave me nightmares," "I watched it, I had nightmares," things like that. So this is part of knowing who you are and how you can be influenced and impacted by certain stories, certain visuals, and certain things. Like the horror genre is not for everyone, especially if it's giving you nightmares. So the first point, the first aspect of dealing with your nightmares is understanding that you are different from others. We are not the same. We're not built the same. We do not have the same experiences, and especially we don't have the same sensitivity to things. So it's understanding that if you're more sensitive, if you watch something and then you have nightmares about it, then it doesn't make you someone who's inferior. It's just important that you acknowledge that you are being impacted differently from others and that there are things you can do about it. And the first thing that you can do about it is stop exposing yourself to that. So if you watch a true crime video and you start having nightmares about it, then stop watching those things. Stop watching horror movie, fantasies, whatever that's triggering those nightmares within yourself. Okay, the first thing is to stop exposing yourself to it, because it means that when you're viewing this or hearing about it, then it enters your subconscious. It may even go as deep as entering your inner world and then getting manifesting within your dream realm. And that's only one type of nightmare, but this is the first type that we'll talk about. The nightmares that you can assess and know is triggered by a movie. And you'll know because your nightmare most likely is related to some aspect of the movie you've just seen. So you watch a horror movie with your friends, or what have you, you get home, or you're at home watching a horror movie, and then you go to sleep and you have a nightmare that's dealing with some of the aspect of that particular movie. Okay, so that's the way you know that this nightmare is specifically tied to what you've seen the same night or a few days before or whatever, or whatever you, how many times before you've seen it. And so you can easily pinpoint it at. And if that's the case, then you know, stay away from horror movies, stay away from that genre, at least until you've done enough to be better prepared to prevent the nightmares or to deal with them if they keep happening. So that's the first thing. Stop exposing yourself. And do not think that this is something that that should make you feel bad about yourself. As I've mentioned, we have different sensitivities. And I do have to underline in this video that this type of dark imagery and visuals is being produced exponentially the past few years. I think there's more images, movies, shows, of horror and fantasy, with dark fantasy and things like that are being produced lately. And there's no coincidence. We've been talking about being spiritually astute, to be aware of the things and to be able to respond to those things, to be able to protect yourself against those things. And so it's even more relevant now than before. And I think this video comes at an important time for you. If you were not doing anything about it, I guess this is the time for you to start. And realize sometimes you can even hear a song, like the song, and then you go watch the video, the music video of the song, and you see that the music video has nothing to do with the lyrics of the song, and is very, very dark. So this is another way that you could be mistakenly triggered. You know, you trying to stay away from horrors and stuff like that, and then you go watch this music video, and then you're exposed to it. That's why you have to be very cognizant in terms of, researching what kind of artist you're dealing with. Even though you like the music, the artist may have a background or maybe interest in those kind of things. And taking the step to detach yourself to prevent the exposure to begin with. Because whatever you're seeing, if it triggers nightmares, that means it goes beyond your two eyes. It's actually trying to seep into you. So that's important to try to distance yourself from it. Now, there may be reasons why you are attracted to that materials, because a lot of horror, a lot of sci-fi are based on folklores, is based on mythology, is based also on other occult information that you may be interested in. So for those of you who are interested in certain topics, but you cannot, be exposed to it directly because it would trigger some nightmares, you have the possibility to have an indirect exposure. What do I mean by that? Instead of watching the horror movie, maybe you're reading a summary of it. Maybe you're listening to someone else speaking about it. Now, again, the same approach apply. If just listening to someone else or reading a summary is triggering nightmares, then that means you're even more sensitive, and that you have to completely not be exposed to that until you know how to deal with it. Okay? But for those people who can manage to listen to a review or watch a review videos, just make sure that if the image triggers you, that you listen to the reviews instead of watching the imagery, especially if the reviewer has images from the movies or the shows or whatever. So it's basically you have to be a little bit more careful in terms of what you're choosing to consume, in terms of the horror genre, even the true crime. And this is why you have to be very, how can I say this? You have to be a little bit cautious when you see certain genre becoming trendy or popular. That means because it's becoming trendy and more popular, there's going to be a lot more of it because the market's going to want to push what's what's attracting people's attention. So, for example, the genre such as true crime, I'm not really a fan of that genre, but it is a genre that's talking about crimes that have been committed and having discussions about it and stuff like that. So that could be also triggering nightmares to you. So it's just a matter of knowing yourself and recognizing when something is not for you, so you can stay away from it. Or if you are interested to be having a level of exposure that is adequate for you. So now that you know that this thing is triggering you or causing you to have nightmares, stay away from it. But while you're staying away from it, there are other things that you can do that may be able to help you. The first one is dealing with, number one, recognizing when you're dreaming, so that once you know that you're dreaming, you can work on your aptitude within the dreams, on building up your aptitude, your capacity, your powers, how to deal with it. And I'll make a separate video on that. And that will enable you, as you get more comfortable with the aptitude, the type of things you're able to do in dreams, then if you have a nightmare triggered or not, then you're going to be a bit more comfortable, you're going to be less scared because you know that you have infinite resources of power to deal with that. So I hope this first initial video has been helpful, that you are able to assess whether you are a person that's highly sensitive, with medium sensitivity, or not sensitive at all. Some of us can just watch horror movie back to back and not have that imagery or anything like that sink into us or disrupt our dream realm or follow us there. So know where you stand so that you can actually act accordingly. I hope this was useful. If you do have anything to share or comment, please do it in the comment section. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.